All right, folks, welcome back. On the heels of interest rates spiking 3 consecutive months in a row, the Federal Reserve is making a historic decision yesterday to raise the interest rate by another 0.75 of a percentage point for the second straight month.
Carl, let's talk more about this. First, let's welcome in Georgia Congressman and member of the House Budget and Energy and Commerce Committees, Buddy Carter. Welcome back to Wake Up America. Congressman, let's start off with the big story of the day, this 0.75 point interest rate spike. I mean, we saw this coming back when the June job report was released. The White House trying to say, look how many more jobs we created, still below what we were at pre-pandemic. But really, the entire economy is interconnected, very complicated, especially once that 9.1% inflation continued running. All fingers pointed to the Feds raising these rates. So is this really that surprising?
No, it's not surprising at all. In fact, combined with the other 0.75% rate increase and the 0.5% increase, now all of a sudden we're all the way up to almost 3% that has increased over that period of time. And keep in mind the impact that this has on the federal budget, the interest on our debt. The increases have cost us over $50 billion in interest on our debt just by the Federal Reserve increasing the interest rate. That's what it's costing the federal government. What's it doing to our economy? Obviously, it's killing our economy. And look, the Federal Reserve is doing their job. They have no other choice. I get that. But at the same time, now mortgage rates have gone up, interest rates have gone up. All of this is causing a slowdown in our economy, and I would submit to you almost a recession.
Yeah, well, Janet Yellen was somehow surprised by the fact that, this inflation is actually here to stay, and now that the economy is spiraling, they've somehow been taken off guard. Remember, these were supposed to be the adults in the room. That's what their incredible election pitch was in 2020. But I want to talk about the fact that in the, I guess, the 80s, the 70s and 80s, they had to raise interest rates to match inflation. Okay, right now we're at 9.1%, 9.2% inflation. The problem is real people like me who go to the pump and pay 100% more are feeling more like 50% inflation. Two questions here, Congressman. Is the government keeping these rates, these inflation rates, artificially low so they don't have to adjust things like Social Security and military pay? Or are they actually telling the real story? And how high will those interest rates have to go to neutralize this?
Well, no question about it. I don't trust that these are the actual rates here and the inflation rate. I think it's much higher. And if you look at it, people will agree. I mean, we get calls in our office all the time from people who are, I cannot afford gas to go to work, but I can't afford not to go to work. What am I going to do? I have people from farmers in our district who are calling saying, look, I'm not going to be able to plant a crop this year. I can't afford the diesel fuel. I can't afford that fertilizer. Everything's too expensive. I can't get my product to market because of the costs that are involved. Inflation has put a hurt on everyone in this country. I don't care whether they listed it at 9.1%. It feels like 19.1% when you're having to pay it, whenever your paycheck has decreased and everything, your costs have increased.
Yeah.
So the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke yesterday about the state of the economy. He said, quote, I do not think the U.S. is currently in a recession. The recession is, there are too many areas of the economy that are performing too well. But Congressman, outside of unemployment, which actually the labor market is not many people want to work, right? So we have all these jobs where people aren't wanting to go back to work. So that is also false. What are these other areas of the economy that are allegedly so strong right now?
I wish they would let me know what those areas are. I mean, look at what happened with Walmart. Their stock price went down. People aren't buying things now, and they're having to decrease the price of clothing because they're not selling. And that's because people are having to put more money into the essentials, into the things that they have to have, food and drugs and energy. That's what the problem is right now. These signs, I don't care what the signs are that they're pointing to, they say is strong. We are in a recession, folks. And you can try to change the definition if you want, but we are in a recession, and people know that and they feel that.
Yeah, exactly. And Congressman, we just heard, just while you were speaking, got the news that GDP has actually fallen 0.9%, strong signal of a recession. Your reaction, sir?
I'm not surprised. There was talk that maybe it would not go down. What will surprise me is if the White House doesn't try to change the definition of a recession now and say, no, we're not in a recession. Folks, we're in a recession. We got to face up to it. And what do? We've got to stop spending. This insanity that's going on in the Senate, wanting to raise taxes right now. Listen, this administration, the Democratic majority party, they've already killed your budget. Now they want to kill your job. And that's what they're trying to do with this tax hike that they're considering. We have got to stop this. Stop the spending. Unleash American energy. Stop the regulations. That's what's going to get us out of this mess.
Thanks, Congressman Buddy Carter. We'll be breaking down that GD report later throughout the day.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. I want to tell you about the Patriot Gold Group. But first, let me tell you that the S&P has already lost $8.2 trillion in 2022. Did you know that? Peak inflation is not even hit despite the Fed rate hikes on groceries, on gas. You know it as well as I do. Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs are warning of another 20% drop. Inflation is winning in a knockout right now. The Fed is going to raise rates again at the end of July. Meanwhile, Goldman, Wells Fargo, and Bloomberg are all forecasting gold to surpass all-time highs. If you want to invest in gold, call 888-936-2373 now. Call the Patriot Gold Group today and ask about their no-fee-for-life IRA. Sounds like a good deal, don't it? Here's the number, 888-936-2373. 888-936-2373 for the Patriot Gold Group.